How websites are created. So, how are websites actually made? I mean, what's really going on behind all those pretty pages and buttons you click every day? Every website, no matter how fancy, starts with just two things: HTML and CSS. HTML is like the bones, it builds the structure of the page. CSS is the style, it makes everything look nice and organized. Together, they're basically the bread and butter of the web. When you visit a site, your browser receives that HTML and CSS from a web server, then it turns that code into the page you see. And of course, websites aren't just text. They've got images, videos, maybe a cat GIF or two, and all of that is added using HTML and CSS too. Some sites also use JavaScript. That's what makes things interactive. You know, like when a button moves, a pop-up appears, or your shopping cart suddenly reminds you to buy just one more thing. Now, small websites can be built with plain HTML and CSS. But bigger sites like online stores or blogs often use something called a content management system, or CMS. That's just a fancy way of saying there's extra software running on a web server that helps manage your content. Systems like WordPress, Shopify, or Wix do the heavy lifting. But guess what? Even they send HTML and CSS to your browser in the end. Big, complex websites might also use programming languages like PHP, Java, or Ruby, and databases to store stuff like user info or products. But don't stress, you don't need to know all that yet. Just learning HTML and CSS already gives you real control over how a website looks and feels. These days, we're using HTML5 and CSS3, the latest versions. They come with cooler features, better design options, and more control. And the best part, once you learn these, you'll also understand the older versions easily. It's like learning to drive a new car, you can still handle the older ones. So that's how websites are created. A mix of structure, style, and a little bit of magic. Up next, we'll talk about how the web actually works, where all that code goes, and how your browser talks to servers. If you found this helpful, don't forget to follow the channel for more easy, beginner-friendly lessons on web design. Let's make the web simple, one video at a time.